and I'm joined today by my good friend. We've known each other longer than we both care to remember, CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool. And we're going to talk about a couple of all-time classic Drowning Pool songs, and he's going to show us how to play the main riffs his way, which means the right way. The obvious first one is Bodies.
Yeah, with the bodies to the floor.
Yeah, and so, but I know there's a great backstory to that, the evolution of that song.
Evolution of the song, man. It's, my drummer, Mike Luce, and I, grew up together in New Orleans and, tried to get the metal band going back in high school days. And his last year of high school, he moved to Dallas, and that's when he met Stevie, our bass player, and came back. And when Mike came back, we're trying to, get the band together. We, back then, the late 90s and stuff, there was a lot of like funk metal and groove metal as well that was influenced by. So the riff kind of started out more of a funky kind of a thing, with the whole like. Kind of like a funk riff. But once we got Dave in the band and we started rocking it out, Dave was, brought the metal in, the Pantera influence, and it got heavier from there. But it definitely had more of a funk feel to it. It's basically kind of a funk riff thrown in there. I think that's the part that throws people off a little bit, besides all the metal. But, it's pretty straight, simple forward. I'm in drop C on the tuning. We used to count to 8 back in the day, too. It was pretty funny. We changed that just to 4. Figured there was anything after 4 was too many numbers. It's confusing, man.
So it's just a 4
we keep it at 4
in.
instead of 8 count. Man, it's a great song to play. It's a fun song. It's not too difficult, but it's not about that. It's the feeling and the vibe of the song, and and how everybody responds to it.
And there's a looseness to the wrist to get that funk.
Yeah, it's a lot of like sway stuff instead of just straight down picking.
Do you ever listen to people like Nile Rodgers or anyone like that?
Oh yeah, dude, it's sick, dude. Like
unbelievable. Like his right hand.
It's a whole nother world, right? That brings that flavor to the table with the right hand for sure.
So why don't we start with that particular riff then? So the one that everyone gets wrong.
Right. So it's wah pedal. I'll try to. I don't know how quiet I can get it or slow, but it's So I'm hitting the top 3 strings here. And I'm doing these 3. So it's basically these 3 guys and with these 2, and then later on I go. There's this little thing in the background that you don't.
Okay, subliminal.
Yeah, so it's a. Doing that as well, but it's kind of like you just hear the blunt force of what's happening. So you just. So it's just the subtle things that are sneaking in, but that's basically same,
And the bar's at the 12th fret, so that's basically kind of a D chord you're barring, basically.
Yeah, it's it's basically a D chord.
Except
barring.
with a sus2, isn't it?
Yeah.
And whatever that other chord is, it just sounds cool.
It sounds nothing like metal. It's like, you really have that in the song? Comes across so massive.
So if you could play the whole thing, could you play it slowly? Can you slow your hand down to play it slowly?
Yeah, I should try to clean up. Even that part's there's a lot of funky going on.
Yeah, like octaves with muting every string.
Yeah, do that. Got to mute the middle one and just do like that.
Yeah, so you're basically using your middle 2 fingers to mute the low strings and the undersides of the other 2 fingers. Yeah, I'm muting
this one and I'm muting that one. See?
And then the underside of the little finger is getting the high strings rocking.
Yeah.
That way you can brutally hit them all and just hear the 2 notes.
Yeah, just hear the 2, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
So there you have it, the trick.
That's the tricks, man. Everything else. Just like,
yeah.
It's funky.
I mean, and that you wrote that like
mid-90s.
Over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, because you guys got together when you moved to Dallas, 96-ish. Then you
it was a riff Mike and I had before we even got there. It's funny because I found the cassette tape because 4-track recorders in the room with the inception of it, and there was a couple different little not variations, but just to have that in a rehearsal room with Mike and I. From there, and then getting back to Texas and Stevie Benton, once Dave Williams joined the band, it was just like another, hey, I got this riff, and it just came together like that, over a case of Coors Light and some Jaeger shots.
Of course. It's Texas.
It's Texas, man.
Now, the question is, did you have any idea you'd written something that 25 years later would be still, I mean, it's got a ridiculous amount of streams on Spotify in the multi-millions.
It was a fun song. It had a great feeling to it. The thing that first came out, we played it in New Orleans, this place called Zeppelin, something is there anymore, but we all stayed at my mom's house, all of us sleeping on the floor and stuff. And it was one of the first times we started playing it live with the, say demo version, just earlier version. And my mom's like, "Man, Mom, I really like this body song you guys have." Like, yeah, Mom, it's pretty cool, right? It's like, if Mom likes it and improve it, I guess it's going to be all right. But
there you go.
To see it take off from there was it's wild. And again, it's a fun song, man. Yeah, it's it wasn't like you sitting here thinking it out. It just came out naturally. We just played it and rocked it, and then there it is.
Yeah, sometimes less is more, as the saying
less is
goes.
more. This one's definitely a less is more type song. But yeah, dude, it's
But it's surprisingly complex. It's simple yet hard to play correctly.
I guess those little guys, I didn't think about how.
Very cool. Yeah. I remember years and years ago, my wife called me and go, "I know you know these guys. There's an old guy on America's Got Talent, I think it was."
Yeah, he came out and he did that on America's Got Talent, and then we played. He came up this stage, maybe 3 shows. He came up on stage with us, but the first time was Open Air Festival, and he happened to be there. And we brought him up last second. He just came out there screaming on bodies. That was an awesome show. And there was another one, festival where they filmed that prison for Shawshank Redemption, whatever.
Right.
Whatever that festival is outside of that. It's hard, the brains frying on me on that one. But he was there. He lived close by that. And we brought him up on stage as well. So
I guess that keeps breathing new life, to quote a old Daryl song, breathing new life into a classic song.
Breathing new life. Yeah, it keeps come up and used for different things, man. It's definitely got a life of its own. And it's, again, another song I just look forward to playing every night.
So you're definitely not tired of playing it now?
Oh, no, man. I love it. How could
you be?
Yeah, how could you be? Like, everybody has some good time with it. Like, we're all here. That's what we're here to have a great time. And that's one of the songs that does that. So we definitely look forward to that part of the set and just see everybody go nuts. Fun song, man.
So that's on the 2001 Sinner album, which was your debut, which went platinum ridiculously quickly. Good in those good old days when people would see a band like it, buy the record, not
physically buy it. Like people bought like that many copies. I don't know how online downloading and all that, but it was great, man. It came up really fast for us. That 2001 was a great year. Going to 2002, we're coming up on the 25-year anniversary pretty soon on Sinner record, and I've been putting stuff together. We wanted to do a 20-year anniversary, but that was during COVID, so I'd already got a lot of stuff together. Just a hats off to Dave Williams in that time period. I just happened to had a new high 8mm camera back then. It was pretty fancy, so I was recording a lot of stuff back then. I'm glad that I did that, and just to give him justice and shine light on that. We fortunately still before we got signed, the local band like in 1999 stuff opening for, we went on tour at Seven Dust and Ben's Kitty and Head PE early on in the day. So I'm glad I captured all that and have it.
Oh, that's great.
I want to get that out to the world. So we're getting that together now. It's 2 years from now, but especially having Brian back in the band, all the stuff we want to, do it. Hats off to Dave. We did a few other songs that went on Center record, like one-off shoots here and there with Dave that we never really performed live. So I want to bring that stuff into the set. And the very last song we wrote with Dave, again, this is like a band conversation, but we were doing rehearsals in Nashville before us, 2002, and we wrote a song during rehearsals that we just have, again, on the cassette tape, 4-track recorder. So I'd like to do that, like real production, and with Ryan singing on. So it's the last thing, it's called Hero Sleeping. It was about, the band members and people that passed away before us.
But wasn't it dedicated to Lane? Didn't he write it about people like Lane Staley?
Yeah, Lane Staley, and it was, it was about fallen heroes, and then 6 months later,
he was one of them. Yeah,
pretty
tragic.
Brutal. But we have that song, and I think it's a great piece to put out there. So little things, I'm letting the cat out the bag. I shouldn't be talking about it too much. You wait till the anniversary.
You heard it here first,
but there's a lot of cool stuff that we're bringing into it. And we have like demo versions of Bodies and Sinner. I'm not sure which ones are out there, but it's pretty fun here in the very first versions of those. We still have that too. So
that's killer.
I want to put that out there. Bodies, like I said, we used to count to 8, and with Tear Away, I had like 2 guitar solos on that at that time. It was like an 8-minute long song. It's kind of more like around 4 or 5.
Right, yeah, you shortened it.
We shortened it for the record.
The abridged version. But talking of Tearaway, we can do a pedal change, and then this man's going to show us how to play some of the main riffs from that as well.
Yeah, Tearaway as well. The story behind that one's pretty fun. So here we go.
So some magic now while we change pedals. So we're back after the magic. The pedals are changed. Well, no, we just added an MXR EVH flanger to the EVH wah-wah and Tearaway. So I understand there's a good backstory to this one as well. Imagine that.
Yeah, right? I mean, doesn't have a story. Now, all our songs have, about real life stuff and instances. I mean, I love the bands that write about, dragons and lasers and misty mountaintops, which is cool, fantasy, whatever. But yeah, all from straight up life experiences. And with Tearaway, I've got the Digitech, the 2112 effects rack.
Right.
And they had 2 chains in it where you can mix, 2 chains of effects. So if you want to have 2 choruses or 2 flanges or whatever. So I was we're in the rehearsal room, we're on the 2nd floor, and down below is the bathrooms and stuff. And so I'm trying to, get this program going to try to make a phaser and a flanger mix without canceling out.
Gotcha.
So, which kind of has the effect of like a wah pedal with this on. So I'm literally just going like this. And I'm going, doot, 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 and programming.
Oh, really?
I'm going like this. And I'm doing this stuff. And David went to hit the bathroom because what are you doing? I'm like, I'm making a program. We can stop to do it again. I'm like, I don't know what the he's talking about, right? So I saved what I had. And so I just go, and he just starts singing. I'm telling you, like, just starts singing it. It was one of these few songs where we just wrote it right away. So. And that's just how it goes, and then it kicks in. Break. There's a lot of low ring out, like. That's kind of how it came out. Like, right. I'm just gonna ring out until we figure out what's singing. It fell into place. It was so wild. That's when you asked earlier about a song where you felt like, did you know it was gonna be a big hit or not? I knew when we left the room that night. I remember going home in the work truck,
right.
Electrician at the time, and I felt like we did something great because it just came up naturally. It's stayed the same since then. So, but yeah, it was a fun time, man. And Dave just came up with just one of those magical things. You just start singing on it.
So it was just you literally messing around.
I was literally just messing around with the program. I'm just like program, and he just starts singing on it, man. And then just ring it out, and it just came together. And it's so fun now too. Because we all sing a lot more back then, when we started, Dave was just main singer, but we just evolved over the years between Mike, Stevie, and myself to do background and harmonies and now having Ryan in the band. So we did an acoustic set a few months ago in Poland for our troops. And it was fun because we've never really broken it down before acoustic.
Right.
And here we are doing these 4-part harmonies, and it just became like even a life of its own song. So Tearaway's another song that's a big one for us. And it's also changed for me. The choruses, I don't care about anyone else but me. And at the time, Dave was coming in because he was such a caring dude. That's such a big heart.
Right.
And if we've had any kind of money on him, or he was, buying our drinks, buying this and that. So whenever the first of the month came up for rehearsal room, he usually wouldn't show up for rehearsals that first week. So because he didn't have any money, but he'd come in, it's like, oh man, I don't care about anyone else but myself. I'm selfish. Like that. That's he was like that.
And that's where the lyric came from.
And that's where the lyric came from. But also it's kind of changed, like, because I realized, you have to love and respect yourself before you can love other people. And for a lot of people, I think their interpretation is, they heard Tearaway, and it's like, I don't care about anyone else but me. It's like, I need that time for myself. Especially people like, man, I do get mail, email now, but just handwritten letters like, man, this song saved my life. I was in the wrong mindset, and then,
Wow.
It got really deep on us.
That is deep, because it's not selfish at all. Someone said that if you don't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you? And the answer is you can't. It's the same with a song.
Yeah, you have to have a minute to yourself. So it really comes across like that. It's not like a full selfish thing. It's just like, focus on yourself and respect yourself so you can respect other people.
Yeah, and I think the same is true of music. It's like we have something called we do like a school of rock thing here. We call it Rock Camp. Yeah. And I'll ask pupils, so how's they have to write an original song and do 2 covers, and I'll ask them what the original song's like. And if they go, it's okay, I'm like, well, in that case, rewrite it. And they go, what do you mean? I said, if you just think it's okay, I'm not going to think it's great. If you don't think it's great, fix it. So this is obviously an instant where you guys knew you had something, that it meant something to you.
It meant something to us. And speaking of what you just said, to get into the guitar solo in it, when we first came up with it, I didn't have a solo written, local band days. So I just go and just wing it and fly it because it was just a Philly song. And then there was one night that I went into it and it was just not good. It was, I was on the fly, but I wasn't flying right. So I went to it was bad. So I went to the rehearsal room that night and I stayed there and worked on it till the sun came up because I'm like, I'm not going to go embarrass the family and myself like that. Like, what's right for the song and what feels. So I spent the time on that to do that. So that solo is another fun solo too. It's not real flashy. It's more of the bendy feely stuff, and it's a fun solo to play.
But once again, less is more, right?
Less is more. There's definitely some songs I've gotten really busy on. I mean, I love death metal, but also the jazz and blues. So we have a wide range of stuff. But depending on what you feel like doing, what the song's about, we have some heavy, fast slamming stuff. But when you lay back on a song like this is wide open, it's good to just feel it.
And I notice once again, like you're doing the funky kind of octave thing where you're only playing two strings, but you're hitting them all with once again that muting, and then contrasting it with the open lowness.
Yeah. Right.
But the cool thing about those power chords is a lot of people, when they do a drop tuning, they only hit the first 2 or 3 low strings.
Yeah.
You're hitting the first 5.
I like to get the full.
That's huge, man. Yeah.
Just to have that big, the big sound, because one guitar player band, I still want that full bottom. So I wound up doing a lot of like full chords.
Yeah, wide is good, right?
Yeah, wide is good, man. Just that big ring out, man.
Yeah.
Especially when we used to run, we had the setup influenced by Pantera, I admit, Ozfest 2002, and I had 15 cabinets aside.
Of course.
You had to bring it out. We still had those in the set cards, but I was running an 8-cab stereo.
Oh,
and just, how it is. And back then, younger, we just, everything, just turn all the knobs up and just raw, that big wall of sound, especially with chords like that in Tearaway, where you ring it out, you just feel that wall of sound behind you, man.
It's that kind of like, I remember seeing, like, standing on the stage when someone like Kerry King's playing and you've got 6 cabinets, so the sound hugs you. You can't walk off axis. It's like just there, it grabs you and keeps you.
Yeah, it comforts you, man. Same thing when we did some shows with a Velvet Revolver a while back, and Slash, he had like a wall here and he had a wall there on the side, and you just was surrounded by like, it's Slash. Yeah.
It wasn't loud, it was just all encompassing.
Yeah, it was just full. Yeah.
Width again.
The width, yeah, that's so much ripping your head off. But yeah, man, I'm always running as many cabinets speakers I can find, even no matter where we're playing.
So who influenced you with regards doing the bigger than usual chords, and also especially the octaves? Where did that come from?
The octaves, I think the octave stuff probably came around, Rage Against the Machine and Tom Morello had a lot of the Rage first record was a big influence on me. I'm definitely like big time into like funk, old school. Like there's the band called the Meters that was the backup band for the Meters. Yeah, James Brown's backup band that was a real big influence on me. But there's a lot of octave funky stuff and like jazzy stuff because I played in a jazz band for a little while and in my high school and college days. So I'm really, really big on octave stuff.
And how long did it take to master the muting technique? Because you've got it down, because you are hitting all 6 strings.
Yeah, I'm hitting everything, but you only hear these. Hitting all, but you only hit the 2. It just came, I don't know when I mastered it, but I've always loved that style and that funkiness, just being, you want to keep it clean as you can.
Yeah. So but you also don't want to be tinky.
Yeah, you don't want to be tinky. You still got to get the balls across. You nail 2 strings in the middle of 6. Just feel those 2.
Yeah.
Play all of them.
Killer.
That's part of this style. I guess that's the natural thing.
So if you haven't listened to the Meters or Rage Against the Machine, fix that wrong right away.
Yeah, get all the octaves on those, man. So there's a lot of funky undertones with us. But we come across, as a rock metal band. I guess that's the one thing that the uniqueness, I would say, with the foundation style of Drowning Pool that we've always had. It's got to hit the head groove.
That's a Texas thing as well as a groove. Like, Pantera had the power groove. You've got the funk groove.
Yeah, they had the power groove, man. Just that southern groove. Some people say groove metal, funk metal, whatever, but I wouldn't say we're a funk metal band. It's more like you said, the power.
You got a funky S. You got a funky
S.
Funky
like
twist,
that,
funky S.
It's fancy.
Yeah.
It's fancy.
CJ, a pleasure, my friend. A pleasure.
Yeah, man, dude, it's always great to be here, and it's always good to hang out.
Likewise. Now you know how to play them, so go play them. See ya!
Shut up.